Jeff.
Hello, Ryan.
How's it going?
It's going okay.
We're back here at the Bomb House, and it's the end of E3 Day Zero before the actual show starts, but a lot of press conferences and stuff happened. Last thing you did today was went out to a Kinect event. Got some hands-on time or movement on time with Kinect.
Yeah, there's no good term for that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, tell me about what you played.
Well, we went to this event, and I was able to play a handful of the Kinect games, and started out with Kinect Sports, which is their minigame compilation.
Yes.
And in this game, you know, you do a few different things. I started out with bowling, which felt pretty natural. You know, you reach out, grab the ball from the kind of the ball return, hold it up, swing back, and go. Before you swing back, you can kind of step back and forth to aim, and when you're going to throw, how far you follow through ends up putting more spin on the ball.
Was there anything else to the Kinect Sports demo that you got?
Yes, there was the crowd, like manipulate the crowd stuff that was shown at the press conference, which
Yes.
I skipped on that because it's it seemed pretty
showy and not in a game thing.
Yeah, you know what that's going to be. Yeah. But there were hurdles, so
right, they showed that also.
So did a little running in place followed by some jumping. The hurdles light up green, kind of pretty far ahead of them. So
definitely noticed there was like an orange and then green. That seemed like that was key. So like you can jump now.
You should jump now. Like it's more like you should jump now, because if you wait until the guy should be where he would actually be when you want to jump over the hurdle, you might be jumping a little too late. But I made it through without actually stumbling over any of the hurdles and did all right.
So that's the stuff they were showing for Kinect Sports?
Yes.
Okay. What else did you get to play?
I played Your Shape, which is Ubisoft's exercise game.
Now, when you say play, what did you actually do?
I went through basically the stuff that they went through in the E3 demo. I went through the yoga portion, did some knee bends and some knee lifts in the kind of aerobic part of things. It told me I wasn't, it was registering my left knee just fine, but not my right knee. I think I wasn't picking it up high enough.
How did you look on fire?
Maybe not as hot as the lady who was demoing it all day.
Not your fault.
But you could see, it was actually kind of weird. You actually see the logo of my shirt backwards on Burning Me.
Like there was an outline of that on your
Yeah, you could
figure.
see it on the figure, which was kind of weird. And it went through the whole process of just like showing me my skeleton, and it told me I was 6'4", which in shoes maybe I am.
So fairly accurate in its ability to approximate you.
Yeah, and I went through the combat training, as they call it, and did punch those blocks.
Right.
And it felt really responsive, and like the bends and that sort of stuff felt like enough of a workout to where I guess it could be interesting in a Wii Fit kind of way, maybe a little bit more involved than Wii Fit, which was just so balance focused.
Right. And it showed you your skeleton.
Yes, and it showed me my skeleton, which I haven't seen before.
What else?
Dance Central. That's Harmonix's. Yeah, that's Harmonix's dancing game. And I went up and said, like, I'm not really much of a dancer.
You do the Kid and Play Kick State pretty mean, but
only when I've been drinking.
Fair enough.
And that is in the game.
Awesome.
Yeah. Not necessarily as a two-player, foot tapping dance. But they do have quite a few moves in the game. I played through Lady Gaga's Poker Face on easy, which was mostly just kind of very basic stepping back and forth. Then it would be like step and clap, and then a little bit of this.
Yeah. So it's kind of introductory.
Yeah.
Keeping her easy for
on
you.
Easy, and that took me maybe 4 measures of the song or something like that before I was timing everything right and getting the steps down. In part of that, it goes to freestyle, which is basically then it kind of turns on the camera full on, but it's just showing your outline with rainbow crazy colors.
Yeah,
I did some moving.
Nice. I guess I don't see necessarily the same level of broad appeal as some of the past Harmonix projects have had. Your Guitar Hero, your Rock Band.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's those Dance Dance Revolution games did pretty well for themselves, and this is that taken to
a whole
extremes. So
I guess Just Dance did well for Ubisoft
right, yeah.
also. So.
But even that, you had to. It was really just sensing your motion holding these controllers. So this is just like, here's what your body's doing, and we know that.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing the right thing, the part of the body you're not doing the right thing with will glow on the dancer on screen, as if to say, like, you're not clapping.
Okay.
You got to clap. So that seems smart. It seems well put together, and like it functions. It does what you think it should do. Kinect Adventures.
Okay, that's another kind of mini-gamey collection,
Yeah.
not sports themed necessarily.
Yeah, and that's the rafting.
Yep.
So that's you can play that 2-player or alone, and it's the one where if a second player steps in, it just kind of splits the screen, says like let's do this.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about that is you kind of want to jump in the raft to get to these higher pathways.
Yeah.
And there's a double jump you can do with one player jumping, and then while you're in the air, the other player jumps.
Right. So
which you can use to get up to higher areas that you can only get to in a 2-player game.
you need a little more coordination for that.
Yeah, you have to kind of work together to get that stuff. And that seemed functional, it's all you're really doing is stepping to the side to make the raft steer or jumping. Really, that's all that there is in that part. There's the obstacle course kind of part where you're on like the mine cart kind of thing.
Right.
And there you're kind of stepping out of the way of different obstacles and
Picking up those
trying to get those
things.
pins, they call them.
Okay.
Same type deal. Like, you move, the avatar moves. I tried grabbing my leg, and it kind of didn't know what to do. There was no, like, you are grabbing your leg animation for the avatars. So, that didn't play, but, that's not something you would really do to win in that game, so it's kind of not that big a deal.
How was the animation mapping in that?
It's real basic. It's like arm out, arm forward, arm up,
Okay.
leg down.
Not necessarily a huge amount of fidelity then.
Not a ton, because it's mapping it onto an avatar,
Right.
so it works well enough, but, it's like, it knows when you're bending your knee and bending your leg and that sort of stuff, but it's not like, you're moving your fingers and it's going like, you're moving your fingers.
Right.
And then the third part of that was the ricochet thing converted into something more resembling a full game, and that's the kind of breakout 3D, batting the balls back. And, the faster you do that, the more pins you earn, and then you unlock rewards for how well you do on the adventure. There'll be about 20 adventures in the final game.
And then Forza.
Yes. Played Forza. Played a couple of driving games. Forza is crazy because you don't look at Forza and go like, here's the game I want to steer by going like this.
Right.
It's like the game that you're like, I should probably buy a steering wheel.
Right.
I should probably get way into Forza.
I need more hardware, not less.
Right. Yeah. So it's a weird direction to see them going in, and it sounds like they're kind of building these kind of almost mini game like experiences with this stuff. The only one they're really showing is a passing game where you have a minute and a half to pass as many cars as possible.
Right.
And your control in that game is really just the steering. It's doing the gas and brake for you. And if you think about, so the interesting part about the game, we spoke with some Turn 10 guys, and they're really just taking the stuff from Forza 3. Like, all that's still in there. All that physics, all the assists, and all that stuff. They're just adding more assists because of the controller. So now it's, acceleration assist as well as braking assist, and the steering assist is a little more substantial to try and keep you on track and keep you going in the right direction, because you're steering like this with your fake invisible steering wheel. And I don't necessarily see myself like playing that for hours and hours and hours, but getting up there and driving the car, it worked pretty well.
But in a way, all that stuff is very tech demo-y. They haven't really announced any sort of specific product.
Yeah,
of what
Forza,
that would be
they
included
did
in
say
it.
that they had a bunch of other stuff back at the office that they weren't showing that was along those lines, where it'd be like, here's kind of a shorter experience that you can get into and anyone can kind of pick up and play it and have fun. But they also weren't really sure what that final product was going to be yet. It sounds like that could very well come out with full controller support and steering wheel support as well as Kinect support, and not necessarily be just some kind of Kinect knockoff. It could end up being a full-fledged Forza game that has all this additional Kinect stuff in it, or not. They're going in a lot of different directions. They said that basically, that they started on this stuff before Forza 3 was done, and have thrown away a ton of stuff. They're just like iterating, building stuff, and realizing like, oh well, this isn't fun. This is fun. Like let's keep this and fix this. Let's toss this out. So it really sounds like they're just kind of playing around with the APIs, playing around with the hardware, and figuring out what's going to work for their game.
Anything specifically to say about Joyride?
Joyride was
kart racing?
Yeah, so it's like a kart racing game with kind of a stunt system. Right. Another game where you steer like this, but you kind of lean into the turns to drift.
Okay.
And drifting earns you boost, and if you pull back and go forward, that's how you boost. That was the one game where we ran into some technical issues, and I think it was just the lighting in the room had gotten a little weird, and it's not a finished game, so it got to a point where I kind of stood there and went, nothing doing. So they ended up resetting it. I eventually did get in, and it was fine. It was just it kind of glitched out or something like that. Barely even worth talking about because it's not finished software, but. That seemed kind of cool for kind of a kart racy kind of sort of thing. There's a stunt mode with a half pipe where you're kind of getting up there and doing tricks, and you do tricks by, you know, they showed it on stage of them spinning around, but you can also lean back to lean one way or forward, or go like this to do like a tabletop kind of move.
Okay. Just very simple gestures, though.
Yeah, exactly. Very simple gestures, and it's just you just return to center, and it'll get the car facing the right way so you can land and go.
Overall feelings on Kinect after seeing it and getting to play it for yourself for some significant amount of time here?
I'm kind of into it. You know, it's one of those things I felt like it didn't show very well at the press conference, and I feel like it hasn't shown very well at all. But playing it for yourself and getting in there, I feel like, especially like Dance Central and your shape is really where you can kind of see what it's doing, because it's showing you the actual skeleton that it's thinking is there, and
right. Yeah,
it kind of pulls back the curtain a little bit more than some of the other games, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's like actually seeing, this is what it's detecting and how it's detecting it, and that was pretty interesting. So it was neat to see that. But generally speaking, that stuff just works a lot better than I thought it was going to. I mean, it is very much in the same vein as like other motion control games you're used to, like stuff for the Wii,
right.
Stuff for the PlayStation Move. Like it's that similar level of fidelity. It's not necessarily the same level of fidelity you'll get with a full controller, but
just a different way of approaching
from approaching that stuff, and it works pretty well. I had some fun.
Thanks, Jeff.